Donnie and Dolly. The team is supported by ableauctions.ca. Closing your business? We can help.
Well, this is appropriate. Thursday, and all of today's guests, as we mentioned earlier, brought to you by the Vancouver Giants. Those guests include Giants head coach Manny Viveiros, standing by. Sunday, Nickelodeon Day for the G-Men. Giants take on the Wenatchee Wild. They'll be wearing special Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle jerseys. Puck drop is at 4. Head to VancouverGiants.com to get single-game tickets, flex packs, and more. Giants played last night. They lost to a very good Spokane team ranked in the top 5 of the CHL rankings, 4-3. Manny Viveiros, head coach of the Giants, joining us now. How are you, sir?
I'm good, guys. How are you guys doing?
Very well. Good. Do you have a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle tie to wear on Sundays? Is Ron Toigo going to make you wear one? Is anything special for the head coach?
I hope not, but if Ron wants us to do it, we'll do it here. But I've seen the jerseys, guys, and they look outstanding. They really do. And every time we've had a promotion, whether it's with Star Wars this year or last year with the referee jerseys, it's been a big hit for our fans, and we've been sold out every one of those games. So I expect that on Sunday also for us.
Sunday at 4. Last night, meanwhile, you lose to Spokane 4-3. We just talked about the Chiefs being ranked in the top 5 in the Canadian Hockey League. What makes them such a powerful unit these days?
Well, those especially addition at the end of the trade deadline, they added Crystal to their lineup, and obviously to add to the arsenal they have right there. Berkeley Katner, that kid is legit. You love watching him on the other side of the bench, but you don't like watching it because usually when you're getting impressed by him, he's doing something very high skilled and at very high speed, and they're good. They're deep. They're D or mobile. They have good goaltending, and they have 4 lines that come at you in waves, and they're certainly one of the faster and more skilled teams in our league for sure.
Hey, Manny, some big wins recently over Everett, Prince George. These are top teams. What did those wins show you, teach you about your team?
Well, one thing is it's not so much about myself, it's more important about what it teaches our players is that when we're on our game, we can compete with those teams. They may have more skill, a little bit more speed, and maybe a little bit deeper in their lineup, especially with the number of injuries that we have in our group right now. But if we're dialed in and we're working together as a team and connected, that we can play with anybody. And last night was no difference. And that's been kind of our MO this year with our group here. Where I've used that we're a little bit of a Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde type of team, where the top teams that we play them really well, and at times. Some of the lower standing teams in our division, we maybe at times fall a little bit asleep against them. And, anybody in this division, if you've seen throughout the season here, can beat anybody at any particular time here. So that's been one of the things, though. But it's, just having that template of knowing that we can play with those guys is certainly a confidence booster. And last night we were right there with those guys. It was a good hockey game, and it could have went either way.
Manny, the Western Hockey League is full of great young players, 16, 17-year-olds. You got one in defenseman Ryan Lin from Richmond. 52 games, 44 points. 16-year-old defenseman, incredible numbers. Where's the ceiling for this kid, Manny? How good is he going to be?
You know what? Again, Ryan this year, and actually his partner, Maz and Leslie, they've been really, a dynamic duo for us. Like that, they play heavy minutes against the other opposition's top line every single night, and to see Ryan step in at 16 and play like he's a 19 or 20-year-old in this league here has been remarkable. Not surprised. He's got a really good head on his shoulders. Incredible skater. His edge work is next level, and his ability to recover with his feet when he gets beat is amazing here. But more importantly, though, the biggest thing what impresses more is the compete level. Skill will get you noticed, but it's compete and character what will separate these younger players at that next level, just like any of the successful players in the National Hockey League. And Ryan has he checks all those boxes in all those areas too. He's been a real treat to be a part of working with him and just watching him develop.
Okay, Manny, with the Four Nations face-off in mind, international hockey in mind, I checked out your hockey DB page. And in the 1980s, a young defenseman from the Edmonton area, you played for the Minnesota North Stars. One of your head coaches there was the late, great Herb Brooks. Legendary, miracle on ice, all of that. What was that experience like?
Well, you know what? It's in a lot of I tried telling some of our players some of these stories, and they don't have no clue whatsoever of going way back then. So you guys must have dug real deep to find those in the archives.
Yeah.
Some of those might have been in stone, but I remember him. He was ahead of his time. When I was with Minnesota at the time, he was already ahead of the curve as far as bringing that modern game. Some of the stuff that he had worked in Europe before that, and the way the game was being played with tempo and pace and everything else. Obviously, at that time, the game back then was a lot different. With obviously the rule changes weren't in place at that time, though. But you could see where he was going and his vision of the game was going to be. And it was a couple years later, he was spot on how the game was trending, and he emulated at that time, in those '80s where the Oilers played a lot of that style. But he was certainly ahead of the curve in his thinking and stuff, and his vision, and you can see where the game has developed and how good the game is now. And a lot of it has to do with guys like that thinking ahead, and credible man to be around. The short time that I was with him, I was amazed of how he carried himself in the dressing room with the players, and how he treated everyone with respect, but it held everybody accountable, and that was a real treat. And at the end of the day, he also liked me too. I was a smaller defenseman back then. I think I was 160 pounds or 65 back in the 80s, and but he liked the way I played. He said that's the vision of the game here. But unfortunately, with my playing career, that was probably about 10 to 15 years too late.
All right, Manny. I go to a lot of Giants games. I know where you stand behind the bench. You look up, you see Ron Toigo in the owner's box. This guy to my left, Rick Dollywall, he's always in the owner's box.
No,
maybe give him a wave on Sunday.
Manny,
always there.
I sit in the stands. I'm a people person.
Right beside Toigo.
Manny. Down with the good fans, the hardcore fans.
When you're at our games and we win, I don't care where you sit. You come stand next to me. I don't care where you bring us luck. You do whatever you want, though. But that's probably the best view in the whole place.
Oh yeah,
big time. There's not a bad seat in that house, by the way.
It's fantastic.
What a facility! It really is. It's a great facility, nice. And it's they do a wonderful job as far as fan promotion, and you could see it in the crowd. The crowd's engaged no matter what the score is, and I think a lot has to do with our record at home also.
Yeah. Manny, thanks for this. Outstanding. Thanks for the story on Herb too. Appreciate it.
Always a pleasure, guys. Thanks very much.
You bet.